Artificial Frontier Podcast.
Imagine going to your doctor for anxiety.
Yeah.
Or even like just a sore throat.
Okay.
And they prescribe you a drug that makes you hallucinate.
Oh, wow.
But they don't even tell you what it is.
That's crazy.
That's the wild story we're diving into today.
Okay.
Back in the 50s and 60s, hundreds of patients in the UK
Wow.
were given LSD as a medical treatment.
As a medical treatment.
We've got two articles from The Independent.
Okay.
One from 1997 and another from 1999 that go into detail about the legal battles
Oh, wow.
that these patients went through.
So they're suing the hospital.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's really unsettling.
Yeah, it's crazy that they would just give people LSD.
It is, and we're going to unpack how this could even happen, the impact it had on people's lives, and the ethical questions it raises.
Yeah, like how is that even legal?
Exactly.
And it wasn't just like some small hidden experiment. It was happening in over 30 hospitals. Wow. Across the UK.
So this was widespread.
Yeah.
And it went on for over 20 years.
You're kidding.
No, I'm serious.
It's unbelievable.
It is crazy.
Yeah.
So before we get into the really messed up details, it's important to understand why anyone even thought that using LSD as medicine was a good idea.
Yeah, like what was their rationale?
Right.
Why would they think that that would be helpful?
So at the time, psychiatrists, they were really interested in its potential to unlock the mind faster than traditional therapy.
So they thought they could just like skip all the therapy and just open up people's minds with LSD.
Exactly.
Okay, interesting.
The thinking was that by inducing these altered states of consciousness, they could get to the root of psychological issues more quickly.
I mean, I guess I can see the logic behind that, but like, it just seems so risky.
It does.
To just be like messing with people's brains like that.
Exactly. And they weren't just using it for serious mental illnesses.
Right.
They were prescribing it for everything.
Like what?
Phobias.
Phobias, okay.
Morning sickness.
For morning sickness. Wow.
Postpartum depression.
Okay.
Alcoholism.
Oh, wow.
So they were really just using this as like a cure-all.
Yeah, it's like they thought LSD was a magic bullet.
Exactly.
Right.
And this is where it gets really disturbing.
Okay.
They were giving patients incredibly high doses, way more than people would use recreationally.
Wow.
And get this. They weren't even telling patients they were getting LSD.
No way.
No informed consent.
Oh, my God.
No warning about potential side effects.
That's insane.
It's hard to imagine.
Yeah, like how could they just do that to people?
It's crazy.
It really makes you question the medical ethics of the time.
For sure.
You'd think there would be more safeguards in place.
Yeah, for sure.
Than that.
You would think.
Yeah.
And these articles tell some really heartbreaking stories of patients who were deeply affected by this one man.
Right.
Roy Anthony.
Okay, Roy Anthony.
He went to the doctor in 1961 because he felt sick every morning.
Oh, wow.
On his way to work.
So like just general nausea.
Okay.
And it seems like a pretty minor problem.
Right, you would think.
Right.
Yeah.
But his doctor couldn't find anything physically wrong.
So they thought it was psychological.
Exactly.
Okay.
And he sent Roy to a psychiatrist. And this psychiatrist told him about this quick answer drug.
A quick answer drug.
Yeah.
For nausea. Okay.
That would eliminate the need for weeks of therapy.
So they were really pushing this drug.
Yeah, they were really pushing it.
And so Ray was given LSD for 3 months.
Oh, my God.
Completely unaware of what he was taking.
Like they didn't even tell him it was LSD.
They did not.
Wow.
And the consequences were devastating.
Oh, no.
He ended up becoming agoraphobic.
Agoraphobic? So, like, afraid to leave his house?
Yeah, terrified to leave his house.
Wow.
He had flashbacks to his childhood.
Oh, God.
And continued to experience hallucinations.
So he was permanently messed up from the LSD.
Yeah. The poor guy has been on tranquilizers ever since that happened.
That's so sad.
It is.
Yeah.
The impact on his life was just immense.
Yeah.
Like something as simple as a family outing or a walk in the park became impossible for him. Wow. And it's a stark reminder about the potential for long-term harm when powerful drugs are used irresponsibly.
Absolutely.
It's crazy this actually happened.
It's wild.
I know.
Yeah. And Roy's story, isn't unique.
Okay.
There was another patient, Richard, a retired teacher. He went to his doctor for a sore throat.
Oh, wow.
He happened to mention that he had a phobia of the sound of people eating.
Oh, wow. So like chewing and swallowing?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's really
specific.
It is.
Yeah.
And while it might seem unusual, it clearly bothered him enough to bring it up.
Yeah.
So anyway, the doctor suggested that he sees a psychiatrist. And guess what?
Right.
This psychiatrist, just like with Roy, presented LSD as this amazing new drug therapy.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
For a phobia of people eating?
I know.
Wow.
Richard was never told what he was actually getting.
Oh, my God.
And the experience completely traumatized him.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
What kind of hallucinations did he have?
He described seeing monsters coming out of cracks in the walls. Oh, my God.
It's chilling stuff.
That's terrifying.
I know.
Oh, my gosh.
The experience triggered severe panic attacks.
Okay.
And left him with this deep sense of fear and insecurity that lasted for years.
Oh, wow.
He even talked about having this like dark corner in his mind where all these terrible things were lurking.
That's so sad.
It is really sad that these treatments caused. And the articles mentioned that other patients reported a whole range of long-term effects.
What?
From memory loss to epilepsy.
Oh, my gosh. That's awful.
It is.
It really makes you wonder how this could have gone on for so long.
Right.
Over 30 hospitals. Hundreds of patients.
Yeah.
How did this practice escape scrutiny?
Right.
For decades.
Well, it wasn't until the late 90s that things really started to come to light. By 1997, over 200 former patients had come forward.
Wow.
And by 1999, that number had jumped to over 300.
So this is like a growing movement. It was people coming forward and saying, hey, this happened to me and it wasn't right.
Exactly.
Wow.
Lawsuits were filed against more than 30 hospitals and health authorities across the UK.
Oh, wow. So this was like it was a massive legal battle?
Yeah, a huge class action lawsuit.
Wow. What were the legal arguments in these cases?
Well, the lawyers representing the patients argued that LSD was an unlicensed drug. That's a key point.
Okay.
It was being administered without informed consent.
Right.
Which is a fundamental violation of medical ethics.
Exactly.
And remember, this wasn't just a one-time thing.
Right.
This was a pattern of behavior spanning 2 decades.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
It's crazy that something like this could happen within a modern healthcare system.
Yeah, it really makes you question the level of oversight and accountability that existed back then.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
It really highlights the importance of having strong regulatory frameworks in place to protect patients from potential harm.
And it forces us to consider the societal context of the time. In the 50s and 60s, there was a much more paternalistic attitude in medicine. Doctors were often seen as the ultimate authority. And patients weren't necessarily viewed as having the right to question their decisions or demand full transparency.
That's a fascinating point. Like the whole concept of patient autonomy was much less developed back then.
Exactly.
But even taking that into account, it's still hard to fathom how medical professionals could justify administering a powerful hallucinogenic drug without even telling the patients what it was.
Exactly.
One of the articles quotes a lawyer representing the patients saying LSD was not a licensed drug. They just gave it.
Wow.
In all the evidence we have now taken from doctors as well as our clients, no one was ever asked to give their consent.
That's crazy.
It is.
That's a damning statement.
Yeah.
It really speaks to a complete disregard for the basic human right to these patients.
They were being treated as subjects in an experiment.
Exactly.
Rather than individuals deserving of respect and dignity.
Exactly.
Wow.
And beyond the lack of consent, there's the issue of information.
Yeah.
These patients were kept completely in the dark, denied the opportunity to understand what was happening to their minds and bodies.
Exactly.
A blatant violation of their right to make informed decisions about their own healthcare.
It's crazy.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
It raises some really unsettling questions about the power dynamics at play between doctors and patients during that era.
Oh, for sure.
And it serves as a stark reminder that even in the most trusted professions, there's always the potential for abuse of power when proper safeguards and ethical guidelines are absent. Thinking about the long-term suffering of these patients, it's hard not to feel a sense of anger and injustice.
Absolutely.
These weren't just abstract legal cases.
Right.
These were real people whose lives were profoundly and often irrevocably altered by these unethical treatments.
It's really sad.
It is. Yeah, it really makes you think about how vulnerable we are when we put our trust in medical professionals.
Exactly.
And it underscores the critical role of informed consent and patient advocacy in safeguarding our well-being.
Absolutely. This is a heavy story for sure.
Yeah, it is.
And it leaves us
with some big questions.
For sure.
The most pressing one, perhaps, is how do we prevent something like this from ever happening again?
Right.
We can't change the past.
Nope.
But we can certainly learn from it.
Absolutely.
And take steps to ensure that medical practices are conducted ethically and with the utmost respect for patient rights.
Exactly. This isn't just a history lesson.
Right.
It's a call to action for all of us.
Like who?
Doctors.
Okay.
Patients. And policymakers alike.
So basically everyone.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
And it's particularly relevant today.
Okay, why?
As we're seeing incredible advancements in medical science happening at a breakneck pace.
So like gene editing and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
New drugs, new therapies, new technologies are emerging all the time.
That's true.
Which is exciting.
Yeah.
But it also brings up new ethical challenges. It's like a double-edged sword.
It is.
On the one hand, these advancements hold the potential to improve our lives in really profound ways.
For sure.
But on the other hand, they also have the potential to be misused or abused.
Right.
Especially if we're not careful about establishing clear ethical guidelines and regulatory frameworks.
Exactly. Informed consent is absolutely paramount.
Okay.
Patients need to be fully informed about the potential risks and benefits of any treatment.
Okay.
Particularly when it comes to experimental therapies.
So not just like your yearly checkup.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it's not just about having a form to sign.
Oh, okay. So it's more than that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's about fostering open and honest communication between doctors and patients.
So like a conversation.
Exactly.
Okay. Creating a space
Yeah.
where patients feel empowered to ask questions, to express their concerns.
And to ultimately make decisions that align with their own values and beliefs.
Exactly. That's the heart of it.
Yep.
Doctors need to take the time to explain things clearly, to answer questions patiently, and to address any concerns with empathy and respect.
Yeah.
And on the flip side, patients need to feel comfortable advocating for themselves.
So it really boils down to a partnership.
It does.
Built on trust and mutual understanding.
Precisely. And this case also highlights the need for strong regulatory frameworks and independent ethical oversight committees. In medical research, we need these independent bodies to scrutinize, propose studies to make sure patient safety protocols are in place, and to monitor ongoing trials for any signs of misconduct or harm.
So it's like a system of checks and balances.
It is.
To ensure that the pursuit of scientific progress
doesn't come at the cost of individual well-being.
Exactly.
We've definitely come a long way.
Yeah.
Since the days when LSD was being administered without consent.
For sure.
But we can't afford to become complacent.
Absolutely.
The lessons of the past should serve as a constant reminder that vigilance is crucial.
It is.
We have to keep refining our ethical guidelines, strengthening our regulatory systems, and fostering a culture of transparency and accountability in both medical research and practice.
Absolutely.
So for you, the listener, what does this all mean as you navigate your own healthcare journey?
That's a good question.
Remember, you are an active participant, not a passive recipient.
Right.
Ask questions.
Yes, definitely ask questions.
Do your research. Seek second opinions.
Yeah.
If you need to.
Absolutely. And don't be afraid to challenge your doctors.
Right.
You have the right to make informed decisions about your own body.
And your own health.
Yeah.
And if you ever find yourself in a situation where you feel your rights are being violated or your well-being is being compromised, speak up.
Okay.
Don't stay silent.
Yeah.
Report it to the appropriate authorities.
Exactly.
Remember the patients who suffered from the misuse of LSD.
Right.
Their experiences are a powerful reminder that patient rights matter.
Right.
Informed consent is non-negotiable.
Yeah.
And ethical medical practices are absolutely essential for safeguarding individual well-being and ensuring the integrity of the healthcare system as a whole.
This has been a deep dive into a dark chapter of medical history.
Yeah, a really dark chapter.
But it's also a call to action.
It is.
It reminds us that the pursuit of medical advancements must always be guided by ethical principles and a deep respect for the autonomy and well-being of every individual. Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Artificial Frontier Podcast.